Right, hi guys, and welcome back to the Moaning Yorkshireman, and welcome back to the Crawl Room. Yes, it's that wonderful time again. No, it isn't. Not quite, not quite. That's going to start in a couple of weeks' time, of course. So, this one is all about Formula 1. We're getting ready. We're doing the pre-season testing now. The pre-season testing gets underway on Friday, as I'm sure you're all aware and excited for, at Bahrain. And yeah, that is to come, so look forward to that. I will be over on Oversteer Network doing the commentating for that, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. I can't wait. So when you watch this video, it may well have already happened, and I may well have already done a day or two. So check out Oversteer Network. That channel is back. I'm back on there as well. But this is all going to be about my predictions for the Formula 1 season ahead, team by team, driver by driver. We're going to start at the top and work our way all the way down to the bottom as always. So kicking things off with Mercedes, of course, the reigning Constructors' Champions, of course, along with the reigning World Drivers' Champion in the hands of Lewis Hamilton, their clear #1 driver. What is to be expected from Lewis? Well, it's going to be an easy one, isn't it? I think it's going to be the 8th world title for him, but I say it's easy. I don't think it's going to be easy for him. I think it's going to be a title fight this time. I'm going to say it's a title fight. Red Bull are looking strong from early signs that, you know, I mean, just the driver lineup alone of Verstappen and Perez should be really, really exciting. I think they're going to have a couple of cars chomping at the bit there, hounding the Mercedes drivers. I don't think Bottas has got enough bottle to be able to fight them off and fend them off, so I think it's going to be a solid title fight between Hamilton, Verstappen and Perez. But overall, I think Hamilton's just going to clinch it. As for Valtteri Bottas, as mentioned, it's going to be a struggle. I think he's going to finish off the podium more times than he finishes on it this season, due to the two Red Bulls and any crazy races if Mclaren get their act together with the Mercedes engine in the back of it, which should be interesting to see. It could mean that Bottas could be finishing as low as 6th or 7th in the points at races, and that wouldn't be a surprise to me. I do expect the odd win from him, and he'll call himself Valtteri Bottas 6.7 porridge.com, and fuck you to whom it may concern. But, you know, he can have that if he's only going to win one race. I'm not particularly bothered about it, but overall I think he's going to be shite and gone at the end of this year. So Red Bull, of course, I already briefly mentioned, I'm expecting Verstappen to be the one to take the title fight to Hamilton, and Perez taking a solid wingman role in that Red Bull team, able to assist Verstappen in any way, given shape or form when the time comes. But I'm still expecting Perez to be up there and mathematically possible with the championship with a couple of rounds to go. That's how close I'm expecting it to be up front. Will I be right? Will I be wrong? I don't know. But ultimately I think Red Bull will just fall short, because we've seen in previous seasons they just struggle a couple of races to get up to speed fully before they're able to fully attack Mercedes and have a go at them. And that is what's going to cost them ultimately. I think it's going to be the first few races that are going to be crucial, and I just don't think Red Bull are going to have that little bit there at the start to be able to just edge it. So I don't think they're going to catch up the deficit that they lose in the first few races, but we'll have an exciting time nonetheless, battling to the final race for the championship between Verstappen and Hamilton. That's my prediction there. Next up, of course, is McLaren with the Mercedes unit in the back of it and Daniel Ricciardo alongside Lando Norris. An exciting driver lineup, one of my personal favourites on the grid, and an exciting car and engine combo, McLaren Mercedes. It's been a long time since we've been able to say that, and once again it's back. Of course, it all depends on how they can work the Mercedes engine around the car itself. There's not much changes going into 2021. Of course, it was supposed to be the new regulations, but then the world happened and it was delayed for another year. So it's more of an update on the 2020 car, but have they managed to update it enough to get the cooling and the airflow over the engine that it needs to maintain its properties of being an engine and not detonating itself? Because we've seen it a few years ago, you know, with the Red Bull and things like that, a lot of electrical wiring issues because the car was built so tightly packed it couldn't quite fit the engine looms in and things like that, so they were burning out. So it could just be a bad situation for McLaren in that sense, although overall I'm expecting them to be strong. I'm tipping Ricciardo will do well. From the word get-go, he's a world-class driver, as we all know. And Lando Norris, another solid job in his 3rd season in Formula 1. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that pair get on. I think that's going to be closely matched between the pair of them. I think maybe Ricciardo will just edge Lando based on experience, but Lando's going to be doing well. I'm tipping podiums for both drivers there. Then, of course, it is Racing Point, or Aston Martin as they now like to be called, in the hands of Lance Stroll and Sebastian Vettel. Unfortunately, I think that's the worst pairing on the grid. The worst driver lineup, in my honest opinion. Stroll is good on his day, but he's massively inconsistent, as we saw last season. Same for Vettel. It can be good on his day, Turkey, last year. That was a good race. But apart from that, where was he? Spinning at the back. I know the Ferrari was crap, but he was shown up by Leclerc, and that's the end of that. So a really, really poor driver lineup in my personal opinion. But can they get it together? Can it be a restore to factory settings for Vettel with a new team, a new environment around him? Fair to middling, I'm not sure. Lance Stroll needs to prove himself in front of his dad and his consortium of bellends that run the team now as well. Let's not forget that. Because he's got Aston Martin backing at the end of the day. Yeah, his dad owns 70% of the shares of Aston Martin. That's why it's called Aston Martin. But, you know, people that are actually invested in the team want to see results, want to get prize money back. That's the whole reason why they're invested in it, for victories, for podiums, and for points. And if neither of those drivers can deliver those on a consistent basis, which I don't think they're going to be able to, I think that's where the struggles are going to come for the pair of them. And we could well see both drivers out at the end of this season. That's my prediction, and that's what I'm sticking with. Next up is the former Renault team, Alpine, now with a rebrand. It's the same team, just a different brand, because of course Alpine is a Renault company, so it's the same thing, but it's different, but you get what I mean. And it's Esteban Ocon staying there for another season there, and of course, Fernando Alonso. Now, the big name Fernando Alonso, oh my God, he's returning, he's going to be amazing. Don't think he is. I don't think he's going to be amazing. I'm sorry to say, I think Alpine are going to start off well because of what they've learnt on previous experiences and previous seasons and built on. I think they're going to do fantastically well to start with. Maybe scrape a podium in the first few rounds, who knows? But certainly regular double points finishes for the pair of them. But then this is where it's all going to go wrong, and this is where I'm going to be very controversial. I think that Fernando Alonso will slip away. He'll lead the team in the wrong direction, like he did with McLaren. Now, at the time with McLaren, I gave him a lot of praise for driving a double lard round the circuit and doing well with it. But then you think, no, he didn't actually do that, because the 2018 McLaren started off scoring points, and it quickly went downhill. And it went downhill massively. And then look at what happened in 2019 when we had Norris and Sainz in. It was a fantastic driver pairing, a bit of youth, a bit of experience, all rolled into one, and it just boosted the team no end, and they did fantastically well. So I'm expecting that Alonso will take the team in the wrong direction with developments all around him, centred all around him. And that will cause a bit of problem and will cause ultimately Esteban Ocon's career, because it could Van Dorn him effectively. You know, Van Dorn's car was exactly the same car but still had 15 points lesser downforce compared to Alonso's at the McLaren days, and they were so confused. That's how much of a shambles McLaren were, and that was only a couple of seasons ago. They didn't know why. They were like, the car's identical, but it's still not producing the same amount of downforce as Alonso's, and I think that could happen at Alpine. Maybe not to the same extent, but I think it could happen. So that's my prediction, that Alonso will lead the team in the wrong direction. After starting off strong, build based on previous seasons, he'll lead him in the wrong direction. Backwards they shall go. And unfortunately, Esteban Ocon will have to follow. And because the car's going to be badly designed around Alonso, it means that Ocon will be struggling even more than his teammate. So that's what I'm predicting there. Next up is Ferrari with Carlos Sainz there now. And of course, Charles Leclerc staying there for another season, a multi-year deal. I think he's got until 2023 or something daft. But yeah, a new driver lineup there with Sainz joining in. I think this is going to be an interesting year for them, the pair of them. I think it's going to be a development year. So I'm expecting maybe a couple more podiums, maybe a win. Maybe we'll win if it goes crazy up front. I'm not quite sure. But regular points finishes for the two Ferrari drivers, and the odd podium is more than certainly guaranteed. I think it's going to be a year of getting them back on track and building up, because it's so easy to drop down from the victorious stage and from almost winning championships, but it's so easy and so hard to clamber back up to that level. But I'm expecting, because they've got two young driver lineup there, both enthusiastic, both want to push the team to victory. They both want victories themselves. I'm expecting that to be an interesting watch. So not a fantastic year for Ferrari, but going to be better. Next up is Alpha Tauri, and it's Pierre Gasly and the rookie, the first rookie we're going to come to, Yuki Sonoda. Pierre Gasly, we know the job he did last year. He's going to deliver more of the same. It's going to be short and sweet for him. He's going to deliver more of the same results. He's going to be absolutely brilliant. Yuki Sonoda, the young Japanese driver, is going to be amazing. I am tipping this. He's going to be my Rookie of the Year already, and he's already going to be my man to watch this season. I think he's going to deliver some impressive performances not too far into the distant future. Of course, everyone's got to give him a couple of races to get up to speed. Only doing one season in F2 as well, let's not forget. So he needs that little bit of time, but I think after that 2-3 races, he will be up there scoring points and matching Gasly. I'm not going to say he's going to out-qualify him, but, you know, I feel that if Gasly's 12th, Sonoda's 13th, that's how close I think it's going to be between them. And in the races, one position behind. That's how I'm thinking it's going to go. So, fingers crossed for that, because I really like Yuki Sonoda. Seems like a lovely lad, and I can't wait to see how he gets on. Then we come to Alfa Romeo of Kimi Räikkönen and Antonio Giovinazzi, the Italian stallion. Once again, they're both here in the car. And we were expecting a different driver lineup at Alfa Romeo, weren't we? We were certainly expecting Räikkönen to go, but he's signed for one more year. So it's got to be his last year now, surely. He's just there for the enjoyment. And Antonio Giovinazzi needs to deliver, and he's going to struggle to deliver it in that car, because I think it's going to not be good. I think it's going to be a bad car. I think it's going to be a handful to handle. It's going to be better than Haas, but not as good as potentially even Williams. So he's going to expect to struggle, but Giovinazzi needs to deliver the results straight away. He always finishes a season strongly, but he never starts a season strongly, and that's what's been holding him back. So if he can start the season how he ends the season, regardless of whether it's in the points or not, but if he can regularly beat Räikkönen and regularly out-qualify him, he should keep his seat, but I think it could be an all-new driver lineup next year at Alfa Romeo. But for Kimi Räikkönen, he's just going to work for what, and shout on the radio. I'm going to have a fantastic year of just listening to his wonderful tones on the radio, and that'll be about it for Kimi. He's just going to enjoy himself. Then we come to Haas with the rookie lineup. It's going to be difficult for Haas. They've already abolished and said, look, we're focusing on 2022. So 2021 car is 2020's car with a couple of updates. I mean, most cars are 2020 cars with updates, obviously, because of what's going on in the world. But a lot of people have invested a lot more time and money. Haas have just gone, yeah, there's a couple of bits. We'll leave it at that. Oh, and paint it in a Russian flag, if you don't mind, guys. That's pretty much all they've done. So it's going to be interesting to see how they both get on. Of course, the main thing for those guys is, as the back markers, I'm tipping these are going to be the last, I think maybe an odd Q2 appearance at best. But points are going to be a real stretch for them. But for the drivers, they've just got to beat each other, haven't they? So they've got to out-qualify and out-race each other, and that's how you're going to represent those. For Mick Schumacher, I'm hoping he's better. He does take a couple of seasons to get going, though, doesn't he? We've seen this in his F3 championship fight, his F2 championship fight. He struggles in the first season, then season 2 is fantastic, but only in the latter half of that season. So it could take him a while to get up to speed in Formula 1. Marzipan, as much as he is not really a good driver, he seems to be solid from the word go. Like, what he can deliver in the first race, he'll deliver in the last. So there's maybe no progress for him there, but he will be good from the get-go. So it's going to be an interesting lineup to see what happens at Haas. But overall, I'm expecting Schumacher to beat the Russian that cannot be named for legal reasons. And let's leave it at that. And then last but by no means least, it is a Williams with George Russell and Nicholas Latifi. And another unchanged lineup here, matching the Alfa Romeo team, of course. And I'm tipping these are going to finish 8th in the Constructors this year, beating both Haas and Alfa Romeo. I think they're going to both score points, those drivers. I think George Russell's going to get around 9 points and Latifi 1 or 2. That's my guess and estimations. I think there's going to be regular Q2 appearances from both drivers. Maybe not from the first race. I think they're going to have time to get settled back in again. But from a few rounds onwards, regular 2Q appearances from the pair of them as the car develops and continues to grow. And then I'm expecting maybe 1 or 2 Q3 appearances, I should say, for George Russell if gearbox penalties and engine penalties ahead allow it, so they don't go out and do the Q2 run, so he pops it in, if that makes sense anyway. And for Nicholas Latifi, I'm expecting him to be out-qualified and out-raced by Russell, but I'm expecting it to be closer. But overall, he will be outshone. But it'll be closer, but outshone. And like I said, he will pick up a couple of points. Might need a crazy race to do it. So there you go, guys. Those are my predictions for the F1 2021 season ahead. I hope you did enjoy it. Let me know your thoughts and feedback down below. Do you see any of those teams potentially gaining massive amounts on their rivals? Do you see the drivers? Do you think the best rookie might not be Sonoda? Would it be Mick Schumacher? Could it be the driver that can't be named for legal reasons? I'll leave it all for you to decide and chat in the comment section below, and I'll see you soon for a future video. But if you're watching this, you're definitely going to be here for the Cruel Room that will start, of course, on Monday the 30th of March at 6 o'clock after the first round of the Formula 1 Championship has finished. Fantastic stuff. I can't wait. I cannot wait. So thanks a lot for watching, guys, and much love.